Hello everybody, Grizzly Pig here. Welcome to today's episode. We are playing V-Rising 1.0 and we are going to talk about how to tap blood. So we are assuming that you have a few things already that you are going to need for this. So some empty glass bottles, a bunch of those, your sacred grapes, a whole bunch of those, and all the fish that you've been farming. I've made videos on all three of these things here, so if you want to have a look through the playlist and revert back to these to get the stuff you need if you don't have this yet. So of course the grapes come from the farm that I have. I've been farming lots of those. The fish, I've been fishing those and going to the vendors, and the glass vials I've been making from the glass we've been getting from the quarry mine and from our servants, sending them out on missions as well. We're just going to grab some rats as well because they do have some use. You won't see me use them here in this video because they take a couple of minutes to go into effect, but they can be useful. They're a cheap way of getting your health up on your minions. So we're going to have a look at the fish here now. So there's basically 4 pairs of fish that are in similar tiers to each other. So you see the fat goby and the rainbow trout. Each of these only do one thing. That's to say the fat goby increases HP to 100% always, all of the time, but doesn't do misery reduction. And the rainbow trout only reduces misery. I would say the rainbow trout is probably the least useful of the lot of them, but it does have its uses. The next pair is the fierce stinger and the twilight snapper. The twilight snapper being slightly better because it reduces a bit more misery than the fierce stinger, but they are very close in comparison to each other. These are what I call one tap fish, and I'll explain why later on as well, and that's all to do with the application of them after you are tapping the blood. So we have those two there. They are the lower tier fish that you're going to find in the woods or at the lower tier vendors for sure. And then next up we're going to have a look at the top tier fish here. So the swamp dweller, which reduces the misery by the most out of any fish here, and then the golden river bass, which reduces the misery by quite a considerable amount as well, but gives more HP than the swamp dweller. So they are called 2-tap fish, and again I'll explain why, but it's basically due to them being so powerful that you can get more blood out of your minion using those. So what we're going to do is, because our minion here, which is, as you can see, 100% rogue blood, he has 10% misery and he has about 30% of his life taken off. So we're going to find a fish to foot the bill for this. So I want to get him up to max HP and reduce his misery. So I wouldn't use the twilight snapper because the misery is not above 10%, but the fierce stinger is perfect for this. And as you can see, it's a bit RNG as to how much HP you get back and stuff like that, but we're going to tap some blood straight away, and here you can see we lost nearly half of our HP, but the misery is not so bad. So what we're going to do is tap again here. Now it can be risky. I would never do 3 taps, but 2 taps is good. And now if you do 2 taps, you can then use a higher tier fish here. The misery is still pretty low, so we're not going to go for the top tier fish. We're going to go for the sage fish here because it just fits the bill perfectly. 30 to 70% HP healing and 10 to 20% misery reduction. So this one is perfect for this. Each fish is going to take 30 seconds to consume. So these top tier fish here are going to be much better for this because you're going to be able to get twice as much blood for half the time effectively, but we'll talk about that soon as to why. So no misery and a little bit of HP. We're going to tap here as we've got not much to lose, and we're going to do a double tap because we've been quite lucky. The misery has not gone down so much, or up, sorry, so much. So we've lost a lot of HP here, but not much misery taken. So fat goby is the one for this. Having misery is not a bad thing as long as it's not over 35 to 40%. So we're going to get this HP straight back up again, and then we're probably going to do a double tap, but it depends how much misery we get from this next one, because I know that we're going to have 100% HP from this. So we're going to tap it again, maybe we do a double tap, I'm not sure. Yep, we'll do a double tap. And as you can see, we've got 6 bloods there from such a small amount of time. And here it's, I'm not sure what we're going to do, but I've just gone into a Fat Goby, but I'm probably going to cancel this and use a Swamp Dweller instead because the misery is quite high. So we'll do that, and I'm expecting that we're going to lose most of that misery, but I don't know where the HP is going to fall because the Swamp Dweller is very RNG on the HP. And the reason we never know what we're going to end up doing after tapping blood is because the amount of HP and misery you gain is also quite RNG as well, which is why it just helps to have so many different fish here. I've got so many fish that I'm probably going to end up using all of the vials, and if I have any fish left over, I'm going to turn the rest of them into bones so that I can make some potions. And I'm going to show you how I make the witches potions and the potions of rage in another video, but that does require fish as well turned into bones. So next we're going to go for a blood snapper, and the reason we use this one here is because the misery is quite low, but the HP loss on the minion is actually quite high. So this one is the best fish we can use for this situation here. So I'm expecting pretty much a full heal, and maybe if we're lucky the minion will go down to 2% misery, but we'll just have to see what he gives us. 2 fish I like to use together a lot is the Fat Goby and the Swamp Dweller. If you've got a lot of HP loss and about 20% misery as well, you can go into a Fat Goby and then double tap. Maybe at that point the misery will be high enough to then use a Swamp Dweller. For this one we just done a double tap, and as you can see, the reason we call these fish here in the top tier, the Swamp Dweller and the Golden River Bass, double tap fish, 2 tap fish, is because after you've double tapped you're going to have a lot of HP lost and you're going to have quite high misery. So these 2 fish are going to be the ones that foot the bill for getting your HP and your misery, HP up and your misery back down again in this way. So they're great fish for this. You get twice as much blood for the 30 seconds that fish gives you, as opposed to the 1 tap fish, which are the Twilight Snapper and the Fierce Stinger. So here now you can see, I'm going to cancel this actually, but you can. This is where you might want to use a Rainbow Trout if you're full HP and you've got just a little bit of misery there. But we've just cancelled that. We're going to go into we're going to do a double tap here for sure because it's relatively low HP loss, and this is perfect. Straight into a Golden River Bass, possibly I would say is the ideal one for this. And once this one is done, we are probably going to do another double tap again, hopefully. But as you can see, it takes a while to get a load of blood, but if you just sit here and do it in one go, then you can get an absolute ton of blood in one sitting. And we're on a PvP server, so I don't want to get more than we can store, or if things go really bad and we get teamed up by 4 clans for example and we know we're going to get breached, I'm going to have to teleport this blood to another base maybe so we don't lose it. So it helps not to have too much of that. You can teleport with blood on you, which is crazy good because it just means I can just go and pick up all the blood and then teleport to another base, drop it in a box and then do it again if I need to with more blood or potions or whatever as well. So here you can see I've tapped once on the minion, and then I'm using Fierce Stinger, a 1 tap fish, you see. And there we go, full HP, 5% misery. Let's go and tap again. Maybe we'll do a 2 tap. Who knows? Not sure here what we're going to do, but you could go for another tap, or you could just go into a 1 tap fish. So we're going to go for a 1 tap fish here, and that's pretty much it, guys. So the bottom line is just get lots of different fish. Be prepared. Have your vials. Have your sacred grapes, and of course. once you've got all that, you can sit down in one go and just work at this and use this method here. It's there's a lot of different ways you can use this, as you can see, but one great thing to do is to pair the Swamp Dweller with the Fat Goby. So if we do a double tap here and we get a lot of HP reduced but not loads of misery, we can at this point go into a Fat Goby right now and get the HP all the way back up, get some more misery, and then we can go into a Swamp Dweller again. That is a great way of doing things as well there too. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful for you guys. If you liked it, please subscribe and leave a comment, and I will catch you guys next time.